All right, welcome to another market update. Today is April 15, 2018. Let's take a quick look at some of the ETF, the index ETF, starting with the SPY. Just some simple technical analysis, nothing fancy here. I'm not going to adjust any of these price zones, so you basically have to just go and look at these price level to get some idea where some of the potential rejection area and support area. So just go to some multiple time frame here. We're going to start with the weekly. As you can see, the weekly. Also, once again, I put up the 50 period SMA and also the 200 period SMA just to help visualize the trend. Okay, so you can see that the 50 period is still rising, so is the 200 on a weekly basis, although this seems like a lower high here, but this price here had to move below this, basically the February low, to essentially push this thing down to result in a lower low. Then we'll get below this 50 SMA, and maybe this will start roll over. Then that might give us a clue that the trend might be changing. Because if you look at on just a simple trend line here, right, the trend is still pretty much on the upward slope here. So so until some of these price level get broken, and then the weekly trend or the long-term trend is still up. And if we take a look at the daily prices, you can see that the daily is kind of chopping around here, although the 50 period moving average is sloping down. So that's indicating that on the intermediate trend, it is signifying some changes is occurring. So whether it will be a downtrend or just kind of leveling off, chopping around. And so if we take a look at the 60 minute here, just the hourly, just to get some idea. So essentially, if this the SPY break above this this 235.70 or so, okay, then oops, got the NVDA here. Let me change this back. Just make sure we're talking about the SPY. No wonder it seems to be so low, the value. So again, we're basically looking at this this little bit of a resistance here, okay, but we're essentially looking for a SPY to break above this zone. If we break above this zone, then there's a good chance that the this price will continue to move up into this 270 area, and if we get back up here above this 280, 281, then essentially it will put in a higher high and a higher low, because this is the low and this is a higher low right now. So this thing had to break below this this low here, this February low, okay, in order to make a series of lower high and lower low, and that will kind of give us an indication the trend might be changing a little bit. So we basically kind of watch this. Right, here's a little bit of a trend line here. If it's break below this trend line, then there's a good chance that we're going to come down and maybe take out this this zone here, this 258, and possibly come down to this 252. But if it come up, and take out this zone, then most likely we'll probably come back up to test this area here. Okay, so that's basically the SPY. And if we take a look at the Q on the weekly basis, let's start off with the weekly. Again, you see that haven't made a lower high yet, right? Because we got a higher higher high here on this new high on a weekly basis, and also the trend is still up. Because again, if we put up a trend line, okay, or we could depending which trend line you want to take a look or use, and basically it's still on an upslope, and until some key support level is basically broken, then right now the trend is still considered to be up. All right, And if we take a look at on the daily, you can see that the daily here, we see that it come up here. And so if it come down, then we basically breach this low. Then you could say it's making a case of a lower low. Then if it break this here, then basically we probably have a little bit of a trend change. And you can see this 50 period moving average also kind of rolling down. So again, it seems to telling us that the intermediate trend is in the process of doing something, it's changing. Right, but the long-term trend is still on the uptrend. And if we look at the 60-minute, so again, we're essentially looking for this thing to come up. Right, if it break above this level, get above this zone, then we're basically looking for this thing to work itself back up to these level up here. But if it come back down, right, essentially break this slope, this trend line here, then we're probably looking for this thing to come down and test this 157 and possibly get back to this 152, right? And take a look at the Russell 2000, the IWM. So if we take a look at the weekly on the IWM, you can see that although it seems like making a little bit of a lower high, but this is a little bit of marginal. Right, so we're not gonna put too much on it, but the trend is also again still up. So until it break below this line and maybe get below this low here, then we probably could say we get a lower high, lower low. Then once we get this get below this this level here, somewhere around the 143 area, then maybe you consider that a possible trend change on the longer term. And then on the intermediate term, you can see that the the 50 period is moving, but the price is still trying to make a hold above this these level here to get back into the zone. So again, if it come up, then we basically probably see it maybe go after another new all-time high. But if it come back down, right, and basically maybe break this trend, then we'll probably see this 145, and then eventually get down to this 134. Then we'll probably see a trend change. So on the 60-day, the 60-minute, we're going to be looking at this to see is it going to break this trend down here, essentially, this area of support, or it's going to break above this zone here. Then we're basically looking at these guys, be possibly be tested again. Okay, so now also the other thing is looking at the FAANG stock. Let's start off with Facebook first, because Facebook after Monday's close is going to report earnings. So once again, looking at these multiple time frame here, and if we take a look at Facebook, basically if you draw this trend line here, and this 50 period is still up. So although this thing seems like it might be chopping around here, but it could go up and take out this high, then it will continue to trend with a higher high, higher low. But if it something happened on the earning and the market just doesn't like it, then it could take this thing down and dip below here. Then all of a sudden we have a lower high and a lower low. Then these level will be in play. Okay, so if we go and take a look at the daily, right? So so essentially we're looking at, it seems like it's trying to break above this slope here, but again, we're basically looking for these things, so we have to get above this, right? So in order to push a higher high. But if it come down here, take out this low, then we essentially got a lower low, lower high, and that could again put these things in play here. Okay, so and looking at the 60-minute, right, the 60-minute chart. So basically here, if it come down, then all these zone below is in play. But if it come up, then these guys is back in play. Okay, so that is Netflix. And let's start off, go back And take a look at Facebook. Although Facebook been sold off recently, and the thing is, I do have a couple trend line here already. So if you look at it, the trend, on the trend line basis, it still appear to be up, but this 50 period moving average seems to be flattened out a little bit, so that could be a precursor of what might come. That maybe Facebook might get a little bit of a reversal here, right? So you can see that they're basically getting a series of lower low, lower high. So again, basically kind of looking at Facebook to see where it's gonna is it gonna be able to come up, and take out this particular high. If you can't take out this high and say come out and then reverse and take out this low, then I think these level, these level here will be in play. Okay, and if we take a look at the daily, you can see that the daily here, you can see. Right, so the key level here is this zone here, okay, and if we could take out here, then that will be a different story. So right now, just watching the 60 again, right, so watch it break, okay, or it will come up and take out these high. Okay, so that's Facebook. And Apple, let me see, Apple. Okay, strangely enough, Apple is actually still in a uptrend, right? Okay, right. So if we show this trend line here, and also you're looking at this 50 period, right? It is still on an uptrend, and they're also making a series of higher low, and it could put in a higher high if it come in with a new all-time high. So that's on the weekly. So let's take a look at the daily price here. You can see that it's found a little bit of support here on this 166, 165 area, and it's coming back up to this 76. Okay, so we'll kind of keep an eye on this zone here, and this all-time high, it's not inconceivable that Apple could come up and test that. But again, watch this. If it break here, okay, come down, get back into this this range here, then this level could be back in play. But if it come back and take out this zone, right, essentially get above this high, then these guy is in play. Okay, so and look at Amazon. Amazon is very interesting. All right, you could say that it is parabolic or something, but if you are basically looking at trend line, that kind of stuff, long term wise, it is still in an uptrend, right? Okay, right, so this moving average is also indicating that the trend is still up, but there's certainly the price range or the price movement, it seems to be a little bit of scary here. Right? So again, it's essentially hasn't formed a lower high or a lower low yet. If we do get a reversal and come down to this zone here, then essentially that will start off that process. Okay, so until then, you could say Amazon is still on a uptrend. Okay, on the in the intermediate trend, then it is kind of flattened out a little bit. Okay, you can see that it is flattened out, and basically looking to see it's going to come down, take out this low here, then essentially getting a series of lower high, lower low. Okay, and then put this February low in play, and also these zone in play. So looking at the 60-minute chart here, right? So essentially we're looking at this thing here, get above this zone, right? Essentially filling this gap. Then we're basically looking at these guys here. So we can also, if you like, you could put in a trend line here, okay? But the thing is, again, it's basically, this here, if we come down and break below this 1400, right, this 1400 level, then we're basically looking at this possibly 1350 on Amazon. Okay, and see, we covered Netflix already, so let's go and take a look at Google, and that will finish up our FAANG stock. Okay, Google also, if you take a look, all right, the trend is still up. Okay, all right, okay, and although you can make a case that it is forming a series of lower high, lower low, all right, okay, right, on the weekly, but it is still in an uptrend until it breaks some of the key level. And if we take a look at the daily price chart, you can see that you could still make a case that it is maybe try to break this double top here. If it break below, right, take out these low here. Okay, then we could be looking at this 918 area, right? And on the 60-minute, once again, right, you got this coming up, and then you got this area of potential resistance. So if we could break above and get back into the zone and move above the zone at this 1089 area, so then we could come up and put these guys back in play. But if we come back down and break below this zone here, this 1013, 1012, then once again we'll be looking at under 1000. Okay, so that is the FAANG stock. And also a couple financial stock is going to be reporting next week. The first one, I believe Monday before the open, is B of A. So let's take a look at the weekly on B of A, and you can see that the trend is still pretty much up, right? Even though that it seemed kind of a little bit choppy recently and might be heading down, right? But and looking at the daily, it seems to be kind of holding this area of support here and try to get back above this zone. So we're essentially looking at this thing, and if the price come back down into the zone, then we're essentially putting all these guys back in play. But if earning pop, and then we could see a potential all-time high on B of A, but you can see that the trend is changing a little bit on the intermediate trend. And if you take a look at the 60-minute here, right, we're essentially trying to bounce above this zone, right, this zone here, right, and it just got faded last Friday. So essentially need to see would it be able to hold this area, this zone, above this 2950 area. Okay, if it's not, then we're essentially looking for this thing to head lower. Right, so basically it's like breaking this, this little flag here, okay, on the 60-minute chart. And then I believe the next following day, Goldman Sachs is reporting. So let's take a look at Goldman. And looking at Goldman here on the weekly, right, seems to be also continue to hold the uptrend, even though that it came down and try to test this area and try to hold this. Okay, so that's on the weekly, and right now it's still kind of chopping within this range here. Right, so we'll see would it be able to hold this zone, hold above this 247. If it can't hold above this 237, then we're probably looking for this thing to come back down to this 233 area. And if we take a look at the daily, right, here's the chop, right, so you can see this, right. So essentially, you want to see would it be able to hold this zone, and if it come down, then basically looking at this level for the next potential test of support here. And on the 60, you can see that again, still essentially looking at this area, right? So if it go up, break above, then we're basically looking at 275. But if it break below, then we're looking at this thing and then head down lower. All right, That's Goldman, and I believe Morgan Stanley also going to be reporting later on the week. So let's take a look at Morgan Stanley as well. All right. So again, it's still on an uptrend, although it's sitting right on this trend line here, essentially this zone here. So if we break this zone, then we're essentially looking for the retest of 47-ish price level. So you can look at on the daily here, right? So essentially, see would it be able to hold this zone. If it can't hold this zone, then we're basically looking for it to come back down. But if we get a bounce, then hey, who knows, right? It could be coming up for this retest of the high. Okay? And again, on the 60-minute, see that it's trying to come down to this area here, this 52.12, right? So, and the resistance will most likely be here, that's 56, right? So let's go back and take a look at the couple of the momentum stock, NVDA. All right, we're also looking at NVDA last week. You can see NVDA again, still, pretty much on an uptrend, depending on which trend line you want to draw. But what's important is it is still holding this zone here, right? And it is still trying to push back up to the high, right? So you can see that unless it come down, break below this low here, right? Then we will see a lower low and lower high, and then that will put this thing to test at 203 to 200 area, and possibly get down below the 200 and back to the 183, 184. But if it come up, let's say it come down and push and get this, essentially a higher low, higher high, then again, this new high, this all-time high could be in play, right? And looking at the 60-minute, so you can see that 60-minute, this is the zone to watch, right? Okay, and and here, right? So basically looking at this, if it break into the zone, then basically you have to see would it be able to hold. If it can't hold, then we're essentially looking it to go below 200. And if we could break above this zone, then we're basically looking for this thing to come up and possibly test this 254, 255 area. Right? And the next one is Alibaba. So let's take a look at Alibaba on the weekly. It's kind of interesting, right? Remember this this zone here, this trading band that we've been talking about is still inside of this band here. So until it make a decisive move on one way or the other, right, we expect this maybe to continue to chop in here, right? Although that the trend has not been as strong as recently, right? So it is coming down to kind of leveling off here, right? Testing this this baseline here on this trading band. So so taking a look at the daily, we can see that daily, right? So I'm going to see what it be able to break, this break out of this zone, right? And into this 163. If it does, then we're basically probably looking at lower prices. Okay, and here's the 60-minute chart here. All right, so again, we're basically looking to see would it come down, right, or would it go back up and try to get back up to the upper end of this this trading band. Okay, and finally, a favorite stock, Tesla. All right, no, I have not bought any long dated out of the money put yet, but still looking at it. So here's the weekly, and you can see if you look, right, on a trend line basis, it seems like it's still holding this trend, but it is definitely underneath this 50 period, and also the 50 period is kind of maybe flattened or even sloping down a little bit, so gotta watch that. And it broke this this zone and then came back up, right? Elon put his little bit of promotion, stock promotion thing in play on Twitter, and kind of got this thing moving again. So we'll see, because this is a trading band here, and we're going to see would it be able to work itself back up. But certainly this thing looked sort of vulnerable on the downside, so it came down, got a nice quick bounce back up, right, and then kind of hovering at this this trading band, the lower edge of this trading band. So what I'm looking at is to see would it be able to come back down, right? And if next time we break this thing here, then maybe we get a little bit of a waterfall, right? Who knows? Anything is possible, right? Maybe Elon Musk might say he got a Model Z coming, right? So anyway, maybe he announced that already. Did I miss that? I don't know, right? I haven't heard of Model Z yet. So so we'll see, right? So here's the thing, right? So, and this is the zone, okay? And if it could get above this, then maybe it could work back up to the upper zone, right? You can see that there's also possibly this trend line here. But if it unable to push higher and come back below the zone and to this 290, 282 area, then we're going to be looking at this thing here. Okay, so that's basically it for this week. Hopefully this market haven't shaken you out too badly. It is a tough market, gotta say it. Gotta tell, be truthful. It is a tough market. It's not that easy, because you always get this overnight gap, right? On the ES and the SPY just follow. Either gap down or gap up, and then most of the move is basically been made overnight, and then it just then during the regular hour it just chop around and do a balanced day, right? So anyway, just hang in there. Sooner or later this little whole charade here will end, and then we be back at some kind of trend. We don't know, is it going to be an uptrend or a downtrend for a little bit. But again, doing this low chop area with high volatility just make things a little bit difficult. And so just trade small and use bigger, wider stop, or if you are tired of this nonsense, just stand on the sideline for a while and wait until things settle down. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. And if you're not a subscriber of my YouTube channel, click on the subscribe button at the lower bottom right hand corner to subscribe. And you can also follow me on my Twitter stream. My handle at Twitter is smtraderCA. Thanks again for watching.